Ken, and you're watching Celts Can Cook, the Scottish cooking channel that encourages young men and women to have the confidence and competence they need to conquer the kitchen.
You know what? I'm not ashamed to say it. I love Chipotle. It's a Subway of Mexican food. You go there, you tell them exactly what you want, they give you a whole mess of food, you go home, you eat it, you feel terrible because you're so fat. Oh, it's great. The problem is, it's pretty expensive, and if you're like me, 1 out of every 4 or 5 times you eat it, you wind up getting sick. So, we're going to make our own Chipotle steak fajita burrito. Oh, it's fantastic. I love it. You're going to love it. Let's be about it, shall we? We're going to start with a marinade for our meat. To start that, we're going to cut an onion in half and just peel it. You know, like we do with all onions. We peel it, we dice it. Easy peasy, Japanesey. We're going to pop all of our onions into a big mixing bowl. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of worcestershire sauce and 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. This isn't going to be an official Chipotle because I'm not adding any Chipotle spice, because that's expensive, and doing it myself, it just doesn't taste good. But this tastes fantastic. We're also going to add a whole mess of garlic. Blend it together. You really don't need to add a stick blend. I don't know why I did this. Just take a spoon and just mix it all together. It'll be fine. Sometimes don't do what I do what I see. Alright, this. Oh, this is some flat meat. It's basically a skirt steak, but cheaper. We're going to put it into a bag, and we're going to add our marinade. And it's just going to sit overnight. It's going to be fantastic. If you can get skirt steak, great, do it. But flat meat is also a pretty good alternative. If you want to go the Scottish route, aka the cheaper route. We're going to let that marinade for 24 hours. Now, we're going to take a red onion, we're going to cut it in half, and then peel it, and then mince it. We're going to make guacamole, because if you're like me, one of the best parts about Chipotle is their guacamole, but it's just so expensive, isn't it? Pop our mince into a bowl. Now we're going to dice up some, what is this? It's cilantro. Now, about 10 to 15% of the population cannot eat cilantro. It tastes like soap. My mum is one of those people, so it's very disappointing trying to eat any Mexican food with her. But yeah, if you're one of those people that can't eat cilantro, well, just cut it out of the recipe then. For the rest of us, it tastes like, it's got a bit of a citrusy flavour to it. Dump that into your bowl. Now we're going to dice up a jalapeno. I'm keeping the seeds in because I like extra spice. If you don't want extra spice, take the seeds out, because the seeds are where all the heat is stored, all that capsaicin. Now we're going to get some avocados. I mean, it's guacamole, what do you expect? Now, I do know some people who, to make their guacamole extra creamy, they'll add like mayonnaise or something like that. We're not going to do that. We're just going to mash all those ingredients together that I just told you about with a potato masher. Oh, we're going to also add a whole bunch of lime juice concentrate and just give that a good squeeze with the tatty masher. Add a bunch of salt, and basically just keep adding salt and lime juice until it tastes good to you. Now, I don't have a rice maker, so I'm just going to do the old formula when it comes to rice. 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of water. And then we're just going to put that to boil. We're going to mince another onion. This is a white onion, by the way, not a red onion. And we're going to take a red bell pepper and julienne that. So, I'm using red pepper because, for me, I love the fajita steak burritos, which is, of course, with peppers and sauteed onions. So, we're going to play that way. And of course, as fine as the green bell peppers are, the red ones are the more mature ones, so they've got that more fruity flavour. It's fantastic. Alright, and then we're just going to let that saute for a wee bit. Basically just until everything is nice and golden brown. Now, we're going to make some beans. We're going to start with bacon, and the other half of that onion that's been minced. Let those come up to a nice and brown and caramelised. You don't need to add any oil to this. Add some garlic to it too, because garlic is flavour. And let that all just kind of blend together. Now, we're going to add our black beans. Oh, drain that first though, that's way too much water. Yeah, good, just like that. And we're just going to let that sit for a while. We don't really need to do anything else, just make sure that it's all together. Good. Good. Alright, now, Our peppers are looking good. Our onions are looking good too. Our rice is just about done. You can tell because there's not really any water left in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a big old pat of butter. I think that's 2 or 3 tablespoons, doesn't really matter. And we're going to add in some more minced cilantro and some lime juice. Because we want to have the same kind of rice that Chipotle has. This makes good rice for any kind of Mexican food you're going to eat. Get it nice blended, stir it up, all that good rubbish. Oh, I also add salt too. Salt makes everything better. Unless you're like me and your arteries are starting to clog and you got high blood pressure and you're starting to think, oh dear, I shouldn't eat so much salt. Alright, take your beans. They should be done after, I don't know, 10 minutes. We're basically just warming them up. And hit them with a stick blender or food processor if you got it. I don't have it, but I do have a stick blender. Oh, look at how good that is. It's basically a tasty wallpaper paste. Now, we're going to use the same pan that we use to cook our beans, and we're going to add a wee bit more oil. Actually, just some oil in general, because we didn't have any oil for the beans to begin with. And we're going to take out our marinated steaks, blot them dry, because we want to get a nice crust on them if we can. And the only way you can get a crust is if the surface is dry. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Alright, just like so. And we're going to hit that on the pan at a nice high heat. Now this is sped up 1,000 times, so you see how it just shrinks as it gets, as it heats up. That's good. You want it to do that. That means that it's working right. Hit it with some salt, because salt is flavour. And give it a flip. After, if I remember correctly, this is 5 minutes on each side. Now, of course, if you've got a grill, you can grill them, and it'll get nice char marks. It's fantastic, it's delicious, and you'll get that delicious flavour of smoke on there. I don't have a grill because I live in a flat. This steak is a little bit flatter. The other steak had some flaps bent all over places, so it's a little bit harder to cook uniformly. But as you can see, when we cut it against the grain, remember, it's looking nice and pink. That is a beautiful colour for your steak. Let your steak rest, by the way, for about 5 minutes. Otherwise, all those juices are just going to come out and it's going to be a dry steak afterwards. That right there, that is almost no juice lost. It's fantastic. And now, we're going to take our burritos. I got the big burrito shells too. And I'm just going to put it onto an open flame and just keep flipping it until it starts to get a wee bit brown on the sides, like that. It's a lot of fun to do it this way too, because you think, ooh, am I going to burn my house down? Who knows? We're going to put down a layer of rice, and then we're going to add a whole bunch of beans on top of that. Remember, it's like wallpaper paste. It keeps everything together. And it's delicious too. Oh, that bacon, so good. Add our bell peppers. And of course, we're going to add our pieces of steak. The best part about this, you can add as much or as little as you want. I'm adding cheese, of course, because I love cheese. And then a big, healthy portion of guacamole. Oh, I love guacamole. It's so good. And there you have it. A terribly wrapped burrito. Doesn't it look delicious? Let's look at the inside of that, shall we? Oh, look at how fine those layers are. Alright, so you don't want to cut your burritos like that because, as you can tell, one side is going to be folded, the other isn't. But for now, this looks great. I'm going to take a picture of that. You're watching Celt Can Cook, the Scottish cooking channel that encourages young men and women to have the confidence and competence they need to conquer the kitchen. Oh, and I'll be seeing you.